Hello, and welcome to Just the Facts, where we ask Toby to answer a frequently asked question. Recently, with a lot of articles and news items out and about across the nation and the world, we've been hearing from a lot of news searchers. These news searchers, they want to say to you, "Hey, Toby, I've solved the riddle in Fenn's poem. Now what do I do?"
So this is my torture for this week, isn't it? We do get a lot of those. We get a lot of them, especially now with all the news that's been coming out. All the news searchers coming into the community, they read the book, or they find the poem. They come to the conclusion that they've solved it before they've done any other kind of research. And the research tells them that the likelihood of them solving the poem that way is slim to none. And then our experience has been they start contacting people who have been in the search for a while. They go into the forums, they come into the chat rooms, they start sending emails, and they start making the offer. And the offer generally is, I've done this for a couple of hours right now. I've solved the poem, and I just need to find a partner to go get the treasure for me, and we'll split it 50-50. So here's my advice to new searchers. Number one, you haven't solved the poem. There have been probably 350,000 people that have preceded you, including me and Shelley, who all believed that they had solved the poem within a short period of time after finding the poem. From 20 minutes to 24 hours. Within 24 hours, you've got it all figured out. Some of us will then actually go boots on the ground for the first time and realize that not only did they not have it all figured out, they weren't even close. And you've got to kind of go through that. But I know that's not going to stop all these new searchers from going out and looking for, quote, partnerships, unquote. So I'm going to recommend that you don't do that, because any searcher who's been in the search for any length of time has already heard it more than once, probably dozens, if not hundreds of times. So the first thing I'm going to suggest you do is don't go into the forums, into the chat rooms, or start emailing people saying you need a partner. That's number one. Number two, don't ask for Forrest Fenn's email, because you want to send him an email telling him that you've solved the riddle. He gets 20 emails a day from people telling him that they've solved the riddle. All of them different, of course. None of them coinciding with where the treasure actually is. You don't need to tell him you found the treasure. Forrest knows where the treasure is. He doesn't need to hear it from you. In addition to that, he doesn't respond to those emails. You're not going to get a response. You're not going to get advice. You're not going to find an excuse for him to respond to you. One of the most recent ones we got were the people that wanted to let Forrest know that they had figured out the riddle, hadn't been boots on the ground, but figured out the riddle just to protect all the searchers from who might go out and look for the treasure, even though they knew where it was. So he doesn't fall for that stuff either. It's a waste of time. Number three, here's what I'm going to recommend you do instead. Number 3A. If you know where the treasure is, because you've solved that riddle in its entirety, stop whatever you're doing at that moment in time. Get your butt out of whatever chair you're sitting in, get it into your car, and go recover that treasure. It's worth about $2 million. The longer you sit around, the more likely it is somebody is going to get to that treasure before you do. So if you really are convinced, you've convinced yourself that you know where that treasure is, go get it. If on the other hand, and here's 3B, you have a reason not to be able to go get it from I don't have a car, or it would require me traveling across the ocean, etc., etc. Do not waste your time soliciting a long distance relationship with somebody who wants to be your partner. You won't find them. Nobody wants that. Nobody I know wants that. None of the searchers who have been in this for any length of time wants that. And there is literally nothing you can say to them that's going to convince them you have the solution that gets you directly to that treasure. So 3C, instead, what you should do is A, go to an attorney and pay them whatever is required to write a rock-solid contract for a partnership between you and someone else who you can trust to go look for the treasure on your behalf. 3D, don't make that a long-distance relationship. Make that a relative who you know and loves you and you can trust, a good friend who you can trust, or someone in the community who you know all about and who you can trust, and get them to sign the contract. Then give them some gas money, some expense money, and say, go get the treasure, we'll split it 50-50 because I've solved this. That's how it's going to work. Anything you do in lieu of that is going to be a waste of your time and is going to do nothing more than annoy the people already in the search community. So I know that all sounds kind of harsh, but I'm trying to give you just the facts here because we hear it so much. I mean, every new searcher that comes in, quote, solves the riddle, unquote, and has to tell everybody about it and expects all of us who have heard this for the past 8 years to jump up and down and say, hey, I want to be your partner. That's just not going to happen. Okay? So a little bit of
free advice?
Free advice. Just the facts. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that one. It actually gave me the ability to get a lot of things off my chest anyway. So.
Okay. So if you believe you've been in the hunt for a day or two and you've solved the riddle and you're ready to find that riddle, find that treasure, but you just can't get to that treasure and you want somebody else to do it for you, we've heard it before. Everybody in the community's heard it before.
More than once. Many,
many times. And so please don't send us Facebook messages. Don't email us with your solution. Don't email Forrest Fenn and tell him you know where it is. Just go get it. Or find somebody that you trust in your community who is willing to do it for you. And that's the best solution that we can offer. So.
Yeah, it's certainly the most honest solution we can offer.
Right. But thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on this video. Share it with your friends and all of your family and everybody, and let them know this is the proper way to do things. And then don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications when we put out a new video. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. And we'll see you next time on Just the Facts.